Welcome everybody to this workshop dedicated to the tension between two forms of democratic agency, spectating and acting. My name is Mathias Thaler. I'm a Chancellor's Fellow in the Department of Politics and International Relations here in Edinburgh, and I'm also the scientific organizer of this event. One of the many advocacy slogans that can be found in the online media when searching for democracy says this: democracy is not a spectator sport. Google brings up more than 36,000 results for this phrase, democracy is not a spectator sport. And at least 2 books carried the same title. Curiously, one of them was edited by the English actor Colin Firth. Don't ask me why. But is this statement, strictly speaking, true? Surely the assertion that democracy cannot be exercised and lived up to solely from the viewing stance, more or less completely removed from the political arena, is an aspiration rather than a statement of facts. The experience of being a spectator to the democratic process is today as much ingrained in the everyday life world of citizens as is the experience of being democratically engaged in one way or another. So perhaps we should temper our enthusiasm for such advocacy for democracy and add a modest only to the slogan. So perhaps we should rather say democracy is not only a spectator sport. Spectating alone cannot and I think should not exhaust the potential of democratic agency, but neither does it seem to be altogether adverse to democracy as we know it. As Jeff Green, one of our speakers today, has masterfully demonstrated in his book The Eyes of the People, current democratic theory appears to be over-reliant on the power of voice, without giving due attention to the force of the gaze. Ocular, as opposed to vocal democracy, is thus not the opposite of democratic agency, but rather one of its currently hegemonic configurations. A few years ago, the American pragmatist Richard Bernstein wrote that, I quote, "The search to find some resolution between the actor and the spectator continues to be one of the deepest problems of our time." This workshop today starts from the same observation, yet hopes to take a few cautious steps towards such a resolution. We will, in the next few hours, look at this complex problem from various angles by discussing the extra-political potential of plebeian action, Jeffrey Green's paper, by looking into online networking, social movement activism, and employee management within firms as forms of democratic agency, Carol Gould, currently absent, but hopefully coming soon, by scrutinizing how artistic interventions qua denunciations can make passive onlookers to politically see misfortunes as injustices, Mihaly Mihai, and by analyzing the spectacle of the people in 2 prominent political thinkers, Andy Sharp. What unites, I think, the various contributions to this workshop is a shared interest in this particular predicament of democratic agency today, the tension between spectating and acting. I am confident that the different perspectives that the presenters bring to the debate, as well as the commentators, will help us in shedding new light on the relationship between spectating and acting. However, I'm also sure that not all the speakers will necessarily agree with each other on all accounts. In fact, when inviting them, I was looking in particular for viewpoints that would lead to constructive dissensus rather than all-embracing consensus. So I very much hope you didn't sign up for this workshop to hear about ready-made recipes for resolving this particular tension. I don't think you will find them here, quite honestly. But what we can reasonably hope to get from our presenters as well as the commentators is a kind of conceptual map that might assist us in better understanding the predicaments of democracy today. So concerning the structure of the workshop, all of you should have seen the program. We will always have first a keynote talk of about 30 minutes, followed by a comment of 15 minutes, and then we have more than 30 minutes for plenary discussion, where I hope everybody will contribute, of course. There will also be 2 coffee breaks. The coffee breaks are just outside here, and a lunch break in room 109. and you're all, of course, invited to have lunch with us. Finally, if somebody's looking for the toilets, they're just on the left here. You turn left, and then the first to the right. This is where you can find the toilets. So before I pass now the word to our first speaker, Jeff Green, I wish to express my sincere gratitude, firstly, to Irene Suri, sitting in the back here, manning the camera, who very greatly helped me in organizing this event with her incredible efficiency and also good humor. Many thanks, Irene. It's really, really great. Secondly, I also want to thank the University of Edinburgh's Global Justice Academy, which has generously supported this workshop through its innovation funding stream, as well as the Just World Institute in the Social and Political Science School. Finally, a word about the research project to which this workshop belongs. I'm the principal investigator of a Marie Curie project entitled Judge Ball, Judging Political Violence, that aims to rethink political violence from the viewpoint of political theory. The workshop is linked to this research project in various ways, through its emphasis on the complexity of meaningful nonviolent action and through its discussion of artistic means to engage with violence. Please, if you're interested in the project, do check the website if you want to get more information about that. So I would also like to publicly acknowledge on camera the support from the European community, which has very kindly decided to fund my research here in Edinburgh. So last but not least, perhaps the biggest thank you to all the commentators and speakers who have kindly accepted to work with me and with us here at this workshop.